Wouldn't it be nice if other people were just able to understand us and understand what we mean? And also, wouldn't it be nice if we could just understand what other people mean? Wouldn't it also be great if we didn't have to run away from conflict or feel uncomfortable in conflict and having difficult conversations? And also, wouldn't it be great if we could just have deeper connections with the people around us? My name is Charlotte Grundy from Point Taken Training, and I am a communication skills coach. And I work with people on how to improve their communication, looking at all sorts of different things like empathy, active listening, nonverbal communication, you name it, we look at it in order to improve the relationships with the people you have around you. Being able to communicate well is actually really important in today's world because every day we're mixing with different people in different situations. And if you're not able to communicate yourself well and effectively, and you're not able to understand what other people mean, it can create all sorts of negativity and frustration and lack of confidence. So we need to start with ourselves and really think about how we can adapt the way that we communicate and how we can be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more open to the people around us. So here are my 5 top tips on how you can communicate more effectively. Tip number 1, POV, point of view. It can be very easy when we are communicating to only think about the way we see the situation and how we feel. But see if you can take a moment to sit back, take a breath before you react, and see if there is another way of looking at it. Try and put yourself in the other person's shoes to see if actually maybe the situation can be seen differently and therefore the reaction can be different. All right. So like I say, take a second, don't react instantly, and see if you can see the situation from another viewpoint. Tip number 2. When we are communicating, especially in like difficult conversations and high pressure situations, our emotions can get the better of us a little bit, and we can go into this fight or flight response where we can become a little bit defensive. And that's usually, like I say, our first reactions instantly responding in a situation. So this also kind of goes back to the point 1 with the point of view. But before you react, again, take a breath, take a second, and see if actually maybe you could take that emotion out of it a little bit so you can see the other person's point of view and become less defensive and less reactionary. Tip number 3, and this is a really important part of communicating, is to always have empathy. Now, empathy is a bit of a funny one because actually empathy is not about agreeing with somebody or having somebody agree with you. It's not about telling somebody what to do to make them better. It's actually just about accepting what somebody's going through and just being there for them, showing your support, giving them time, listening to them. But most of all, it's just about accepting. You don't have to agree. You don't necessarily have to completely understand. You just have to accept that somebody is perhaps feeling a certain way or thinks a certain way, and that's okay. Tip number 4, actively listen. I always say that active listening is the foundation of good communication because actively listening is about making it all about the other person. So you've got to not allow your thoughts, your feelings, your advice to take over, because what tends to happen is that when we listen to somebody, those words, we process those words, and what we do is we kind of think about things that we've been through, experiences that we've had that allow us to connect with these words that somebody is talking about. But what we do there is we then make our responses about us, and it can be with the best intentions. You're giving the advice based on the experience, perhaps a similar experience that you've had. You're telling that person what to do because you care about that person and you want to see them do well. But again, it's based on what you think, what works for you. But that isn't always what's best for the other person. And if you're talking to somebody and they are having these reactions, they are telling you what you need to do, they're giving you the advice that's based on them, it can actually cause those people to shut down a little bit because they're saying, you're not listening to me, you're not getting my point of view. So when you are actively listening, just let the words come in, don't react instantly, Maybe even say these words to yourself again and see if there's a reaction that you could give that is still based on the other person. So rather than saying, oh, I know what you've been through. I went through something similar, and isn't it really awful? It's actually to turn around and say, and how did that experience make you feel? So the reaction isn't based on you and your thoughts, even though, like I say, you're trying to connect with that person. It's keeping it about the other person and actually really finding out their point of view, about actually how they feel about it, because it might not be the same as you. And tip number 5, think about your non-verbal communication. What are you saying to the world around you when you don't actually say a thing? Our non-verbal communication is very powerful, and people pick up, even subliminally, they pick up on the messages that you're putting out there. So are you nice and open? Is your head back, shoulders back, arms open? Do you look friendly? Do you look approachable? Or perhaps are you sending signals that you aren't approachable, that you are unfriendly, that you are making judgments, right? That you look a bit closed off. So just have a think about what you are saying, what impression you're giving to the world, and is that the impression that you want to give? Thank you for watching this video on how to improve your communication skills through these 5 helpful tips. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe, as there'll be more videos coming your way.